You put it so clear, bro. The devil is like, when you're not married, get in the bed, have sex, have sex. But then when you get married, man, I'm too busy. I'm
Yep.
tired. We had a
Yep.
long day at work. Hey, nah, it. And you know what's crazy is, bro, how the world says, oh, when you get married, you don't have as much sex, right?
Hmm.
Well, God, right? He intends for us to be married. So
Right.
if we wait until we marry, now I sit up here, I wasn't no virgin. You get what I'm saying? So
Right. Right.
I
Right.
right, but I was in me and my wife. We waited on each other, so I'm able to speak to that, right? So when you don't have sex before you're married, and then when you get married, you don't have it. You don't have nothing to compare it to. So me and my wife, we can't look back and say, man, before we was married, we used to have all this. No, we don't have that. And that's a
Right.
blessing because when you have sex before you marry and then you get married and then the sex might fall off because of responsibilities or different priorities, now you looking like, man, we won't even have sex no more like that. Da, 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 da. Instead of it's a clean slate, man. What up, everybody? It's your boy JK, man. It is Thursday, so you already know what it is. It's Tackle Thursday with JK live on IG. And today I'm only on IG, and anytime I'm solely on IG, you already know what that means. I got a special guest, and today is no different. My guest for today hails from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. You may know him as your pastor. You may know him as the artist or the producer of your favorite song. You may know him as the author of the soon-to-be released book titled Beautiful Suffering. But if you know him as homeboy, as friend, as that's my dog since middle school. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all help me welcome my guest for today, my special guest, Kevin Richelieu, a.k.a. Rev Kev. Let's go. Yo, Kev, what they do?
Yo, what's up, bro?
I'm chilling, bro. How you doing, dog?
I'm excited, bro. You looking good, boy. That shirt is clean, boy.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, try to do a little something light. You know what they say, like something light. You know what I'm
Yes, sir.
saying?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
nah, man, I'm doing good. How you doing, bro?
Bro, I'm good, man. It's been crazy weather down here, but man, I'm so excited about tonight. Good to
Yeah.
see you and again. I hope you again. Hope you and your wife is doing good. The kids doing good. But we doing good, man. Doing really good,
Nah, definitely, man. How you and Deborah doing, man?
bro. Honestly, man. I mean, to be real with you, I'm about to be real with you. I don't know how the JK guest is, but
No,
um,
we keep it 100, dog. All right, but yeah. So you were saying,
hey,
hey, we keep it real, bro. We
I'm
keep it
about to
real.
I'm about to keep it all the way real. You ready?
Yeah, yeah,
All right, listen. So this is something I noticed. I noticed that when people are not in like a not married, I should say,
hmm
it's always tempting to 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 be impure, to have sex, and just not live that actual covenant out of purity. It's so easy
yeah,
not to judge anybody. But what happens is when people get married, they stop prioritizing that.
yeah. I got you.
Like so, it's almost like the enemy tries to get you in the sheets with your significant other before you're married, but then when you're married, he keep you out.
Mm.
So I'm just gonna keep it real with you, man. What we've been trying to do as much as possible is keep prioritizing the intimacy physically.
Yeah,
So like personally
yeah,
with
yeah,
us, we are prioritizing, bro. We and I'm just like your wife, we're still praying. We're believing for kids. So you guys' testimony is really encouraging us.
yeah.
But God was like, hey, how you gonna be trying to have kids if you're not being intimate with your wife? So, bro, one of my mentors, he called me out on it. He was like, look, man, there's 365 days in a year, and if a lot of marriages, and I don't even know I'm going this route, but a lot of marriages will go like will have sexual intimacy like once a month, or
hmm
like every other month, or like
Yeah,
twice a month. But if you think about
hmm
like let's say like twice a month, two
yeah,
days a month,
yeah.
like that's not even half of the year.
Right. Insane.
So
Yeah,
it's not right. So we've
yeah,
been kind of and my wife has like all these apps like these flow
mhm,
trackers and you
yeah,
know how it is. So I even asked her, let me take it from you and be the person who tracks for you. So
yeah,
it actually it makes me have an actual record of
yeah,
how things are going for her and us actually being sexually intimate.
yeah.
So what I'm saying to you, JK, is we doing good.
Hey,
We keeping it.
hey, dog, hey, bruh. When I say dog, I respect you so much, bruh. I always respect you, dog. Um, even like I told my wife, like, man, when it comes to like Kevin and Deborah, is, the way I looked at y'all, um, it's just mad respect, bro. When it's like, man, dang, I gotta get my faith tight like Kev. You know what I mean? I gotta get right like Kev. You know what I mean?
Wow. Wow.
And the authenticity, bro. All I said was, "How you doing, dog?" And the fact that because sex is not supposed to be taboo
Right.
amongst married people. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So the fact that that's the vibe you came like, but this is what we've been doing. You feel me? And I respect it, bro. And I would have never, I would have never, you know what I'm saying, brought it up because I know what me and my wife, you know what I'm saying, that we went through. And so I'm sensitive. You get what I'm kind of saying?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
crazy that before we got on here, man, I prayed for y'all, bro. And I
Wow.
didn't know y'all heart's desires. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I pray for God to bless y'all in that way. But I always, when I'm praying for people, I ain't gonna say always, but I try to come back with it and say, but God, bless them. You know what I'm saying? That aligns with your perfect will. Because I don't know,
Yeah.
man. We never talked about it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I
Right.
don't know what y'all want, but I felt like, you know what I mean, what y'all wanted. And so the fact that you say that, bro, hey, me and my wife, dog, hey, we definitely lifting y'all up in prayer. And I'm a testimony. We're a testimony, bro, of what God could do. And it's something that you also said, bro, is so powerful is that, dog, when you think about it so much, it takes in other words, I guess, so both me and my wife, right, we wanted to have kids. So we knew what people were saying, the doctors were saying, but we didn't let that consume the intimacy. Meaning that
That's good.
we didn't that wasn't our focus. Our focus was each other. You get what I'm saying? So if the only time, right, that we come together is to, we're trying to make kids. Like if that's the goal, then if we don't hit that mark after that turn, we're gonna be upset. We're gonna be mad.
Right.
Oh man, dang man, forget this, man. You know what I'm saying? If that's our priority. But if
Right.
our priority is to, hey, please each other, satisfy each other, and the
Right.
byproduct of that comes a baby, then now we are able to enjoy our marriage. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And we
Right.
don't get blinded by the destination or distracted
Mm-hmm.
by the destination. We're able
Yep.
to enjoy right now. And like you said, bro, it's so crazy because the devil, you put it so clear, bro. The devil is like, when you're not married, get in the bed, have sex. But then when you get married, man, I'm too busy, I'm
Yep.
tired, we had a
Yep.
long day at work. Hey, nah, it. And you know what's crazy is, bro, how the world says, oh, when you get married, you don't have as much sex, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, God, right? He intends for us to be married. So
Right.
if we wait until we marry, now I sit up here, I wasn't no virgin. You get what I'm saying? So
Right. Right.
right? But I me and my wife, we waited on each other. So I'm able to speak to that, right? So when you don't have sex before you're married, and then when you get married, you don't have nothing to compare it to. So me and my wife, we can't look back and say, man, before we was married, we used to have all this. No, we don't have that. And that's a
Right.
blessing because when you have sex before you marry and then you get married and then the sex might fall off because of responsibilities or different priorities, now you looking like, man, we don't even have sex no more like that. Da, da, da. Instead of it's a clean slate, man. But like you said, bro, hey, faith without works is dead.
That's
So,
it. That's
hey,
it.
God, I believe you for it, baby, but I'm sure not gonna practice too. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's what's up, bro.
Tackle Thursday, baby.
Hey, tackle Thursday. Go ahead and tackle that, bro. Hey, that's bro. When I say, bro, that's the best way to start my show, bro. Hey, I'm talking about. I just said how you doing, bro, and I pray, I believe that this conversation, bro. You know how we splice it up, we chop it up, all that, post it on our page. This right here is gonna bless people, bro, because people don't talk about it, right? It's taboo. We look at people crazy, and it's like, no, like sex is amazing. It's
Yeah.
just the context that
Right.
God wanted us to have it in, man. So,
Right.
hey,
Right.
y'all know if you want to add on anything more, bro, before we really but hey, way to start the show, bro. Hey,
No, you do.
hey,
That's
yeah.
it, bro. That's it. That's it. That's
Hey,
it.
well, my dog, hey, you doing great. Hey, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to y'all, but real talk, man, definitely believing for y'all, man. And man, God got the final say so, man.
Thank
Real
you.
talk.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you.
hey, no problem, man. Hey, so with that being said, you know what I'm saying? I do want to, I know I introduced you a little bit, but I do want those that's watching or that will watch this or listen to it or whatnot, man, whether on your page, my page, man. I want people to, you know what I'm saying, know who they might not know who you are, right?
Yeah.
Some people. So man, tell the people about yourself, who you are, where you're from, man, what you do.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm Kevin Richelieu. Some people call me Rev Kev. I'm married to Deborah Richelieu. We've been married now for 9 years, going on 10 years. June 16th, 2012 is when we got married. Currently, I serve as the creative arts pastor at our church. So I oversee production, which is audio, video, and lighting. I oversee music, which is everyone knows music, and then communications, which is all the print material, email, graphic design. So I have teams in those areas, and I have the privilege of overseeing that, which I'm definitely humbled. Every day I'm learning something new. So it's more management, more leadership behind the scenes. So I do that pretty much all day. But my role also consists of like weddings, funerals, preaching sometimes, any types of office types of things as well. So my role consists of that. Also, I love music. So I produce music, like writing music. I love writing songs as well. I've been getting a little bit more into mixing and mastering, which has been something, a new thing that's been fun for me. I love blogging. So I'm more introverted. So because I'm more introverted, I'm often more thinking. So I'm often thinking deep thoughts and kind of processing through different things going on in my mind as well. And obviously, we're going to talk about later. Got my first book written, and we're going to talk about that in a second, so I won't get into it. But if there's anything that I'm probably most confident about or most proud of, JK and I talked about this before, is that I am loved by God. Man, my identity in Christ to me is the most important thing, because all these things can change, all these things can transition or fade away. But if I could keep hold of that, it'll fuel everything else that I do. But also, Haitian American, parents are from Haiti. So we proud, we Haitian, and we proud, confident,
Yeah.
and I'm proud to be Haitian for sure. But this is a little bit about me.
Hey, bruh, I'm glad that you hit on that, bruh. Just, and that's what man, when I think about it, bruh, because I was like, man, I hope Kev, just reference, you know what I'm saying, just being Haitian American. Because what's so crazy, bruh, why I love growing up in Florida is it's so diverse. And so
Yep.
when here I am, my two friends, once I get to middle school, growing up and then going to high school from the same city, I got one friend that's Jamaican, one friend, that's Haitian. And this was crazy, bro. Which you might not even know this, bro, but I'm Bahamian,
For
right?
real?
Yeah. Crazy, right?
I
Hey,
didn't know that.
crazy. Me and Kel been knowing each other since doggone middle school. My boy never knew. So when I think about it, I'm like, you got three people, you know what I'm saying, from islands or whatnot, you know what I mean, in a sense.
Yeah.
And but all American at the same time, right? All got the same skin color. And what's crazy, you know what I'm saying, just being Bahamian, but my mom is, right? So her dad, which she never met, I never met. So I'm not really like engaged in that side, but definitely, bro, I love the diversity. And then coming up here, you don't see as much diversity. But man, hey, salute to you, man, for sure, man. So definitely. So before you grew up in Florida, man, how was
Yep.
that, man? Like just growing up, mom, dad,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
sister,
Yeah.
all of that, man.
Definitely.
How was that growing up?
Yep. Grew up in a strict home, super strict. You do what your parents say. I always say it like this, like back in the days when people listen to their parents. But strict
Yeah.
home. You deal with their parents. So my mom is super. I'm closer to my mom than I am to my dad. My mom is super just protective, so she didn't let me do anything. She would hardly even would let me even do laundry. So grew up in a super strict home, right? It's like she
Yeah.
didn't want me to grow up, she didn't want me to move or anything like that. Also, too, I grew up playing basketball, sports, street football. Back remember street football in the rain and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Remember
yeah.
that? Our
Hey,
great
tackling grass, two hand touching concrete.
tackling grass, yes sir. Yo, absolutely, bro. Definitely, and just the main thing I'm mainly hinting at is our home was just very like closed and tight. And my mom and dad was not really like open where like everybody was coming over, which is the opposite of my wife. My wife's home is like always open. So
Yeah.
getting to know Deborah as a friend before we even got together in a relationship actually helped me to be a little more open, because I'm real closed
Yeah.
and like I'm real closed off. I could be in a corner and not talk to nobody. But
Yeah.
like that's why it's important who you marry, right? So
And for
that's
sure.
like our home life. My mom was the one who actually was the one who pushed us to go to church. So my mom kind of like got us up in the morning early, had us praying every night, had us reading our Bible every night, and she was there. My mom would be at the church before the maintenance people get there, and we'd just be there with her. So I always say it like this: if it wasn't for my mother, my mom introduced me to one of the most important things in my life, if not the most, as to actually a relationship with the Lord. So my
Hmm.
mom was the one who taught me that, and the one who modeled that for me, and introduced that into my life, and that actually created the foundation that I have in Christ. That's because of my mother, and still to this day, I just thank God for her. But that's what it was like you said, down in South Florida, down here, man. We got Haitians, we got Jamaicans, we got Trinidadians, we got Nigerians, we got Hispanics, we got everything down here, and I love that. I love Florida, I love South Florida, I love Fort Lauderdale, always. But definitely, if I can say something that was to be a big thing about growing up, I would say strict rules, regulation, and routine, and just the priority of going to church.
Yeah. Now, definitely. Now, do you think growing up in that household, do you think it helped with the discipline as an adult? Like being more strict,
But
but
it's
with the
yeah,
discipline.
yeah. It's crazy you said that because my wife, she's been getting on me for this. But we've been getting on each other with this. She's reading this
Yeah.
book right now called Homecoming by Dr. Tima Bryant, which is an amazing book. And she in the book, it talks about this idea. She said when we get older, we have to actually reparent ourselves. And I
Mm.
was like, Yeesh.
Yeah.
So when you was young, right? You were like, "Can I go play basketball?" They were like, "Oh, you need to go clean your room first, or do your homework
Yeah.
first." You don't get it, and they don't tell you why.
Yeah.
And what they're trying to teach you, you don't realize as you get older, is that when you're done playing games and stuff, you don't have chores to go to. But when you
Yeah.
get older, what happens is you get older, right? And you're like, you know what? I'm gonna do dishes later. I'm gonna do laundry later. You go hang out with your friends, and you go do dinner with other couples. It's 1 in the morning. You get home, and all that stuff. Like, man, I don't want to do this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. For sure.
So like, it's crazy you ask that. So I think that because of how it's pros and cons, but on the pro side of how I was raised, it did kind of
Mm.
force us to have more discipline,
Yeah.
force us to have like more boundaries, force us to have a little bit just more of the priority of kind of creating some kind of routine. Like we couldn't. I mean, we had if you go to my house now, all the dishes is clean. Everything is folded. Like my mom have cases of water for days. Like she's just
Yeah.
like that. So it's like it kind of created that within me. I'm sure like your family's like that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Hey.
that kind of like made me prioritize discipline.
Yeah. So yeah, hey, your mama ready for about 3, 4, 5 hurricanes. Hey, you know how hey, you gotta stay ready down there, bro. Hey, you just don't know, like you say, weather man be changing. So gotta hey, my mom enough keep the water in the laundry room on deck. You already know.
Yes,
Hey,
sir. Yep. Yep.
hey, hey, even though it's just them two in the house, y'all got all this water? Like who
Yeah, I
coming
know.
over?
I know. I
Hey,
know. I know.
nah, hey, that's real though, man. That's real. So one thing though, man, because I definitely wanna segue get into your faith, man. But anytime that I have an episode, right, whether I'm on it by myself or I have a guest, right, special guests like yourself, we tackle a topic, right, and the topic is on the flyer, and so the topic today, right, that we're tackling. So everybody out there that's gonna listen to this, that's watching it right now, or watching on replay, man, the topic that we're tackling together, me and Rev Kev tackling together, is beautiful suffering. Now I know it's the title of your book, and we're gonna get to your book later, but I just want to know, what does that term, that phrase, beautiful suffering, mean to you?
Yeah. Definitely. The first word for me that pops out is obviously suffering. And the thing about suffering that we don't realize sometimes is that suffering in life is inevitable, meaning we
Mm.
all are going to go through something hard that we don't like, whether it's in our family, Lord forbid, of course, whether it's in our health or in our jobs, our finances. We all going to go through something that is not going to be comfortable or good or some kind of pain, even. So suffering is inevitable. But the reason why that word is important to me is because it's through our suffering that we're able to be relatable to one another as well. So it kind of humbles us to see,
Mm.
like, I'm human just like you. I'm going through just like you. And then beautiful, which honestly the title, like those two words, excuse me, are like almost like oxymorons. Like they
Mm.
contradict itself. Like
Yeah.
how can suffering be beautiful? But when I think about beautiful, the whole idea is I'm thinking with these two words, how can the inevitability of pain and suffering that we deal with, how can good come from it? That's what I think about when I think of
Mm.
those two words.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, deep, man. I can't, like I say, we're going to get into the book because I want to delve deeper in that, man. What went into that thought process, and tell people, about the book and what they can expect from it, man. But I definitely wanted to give you the opportunity to address the topic, man, and tackle it and share with people like your perception, man. So
Yeah, yeah.
so definitely, man. So what people may not know about you, Kev, though, bro, right? Unless they grew up with you, though, is, bro, you used to be one of the eight. Like the kids said today, they got drip, bro. You had the drip, bro. Hey, those that's watching, my boy Kev used to be dressed the freshest. J's on, clothes on. And then what y'all might not know about it, right? Y'all know that, he a producer, he make music. My boy could dance. So, hey, when my boy be out there bopping, you know what I'm saying? You got to be from Florida bopping, all of that, right? My boy, one of the best boppers out, man. So, man, talk to us like how did you like get into dancing, bro? And what went into like dressing so nice and
Oh
killing the
yeah, yeah,
game?
yeah. You know
Yeah.
what's funny? You said that. So at the so at the church, was playing this game where they had acts. Because I'm one of the executive pastors at the church. So
Uh,
one of the questions was which executive pastor won best dress in high school, and nobody could guess me.
whoa.
So
Yeah.
then when they found out it was me, they were like, "Man, for real?" Because at the church, I dress very simple, like solid colors. I pretty much cycle the same thing every 10 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then what's funny, I think even one of them might even be all right now.
Yeah.
He said to me, he's like, "Bro, I would have never guessed it." I said, "Bro, I had the shoes you have on now back then."
Yeah. Hey,
You know what I'm saying? You know
hey,
what I'm
tell them you invented this, bro. Hey, no. Well, my boy, so we know sneakerheads. Kev was a sneakerhead before the term sneakerhead was popular. My boy had like Kev, bro. Like, where you getting the shoes?
Yeah, bro. And honestly, and same thing with the dancing. Honestly, it was a family thing. Like family, everyone in the house, sibling wise, we would just always be like that. And then
Yeah,
like because we were all like different ages, then different people were sharing each other's shoes as well. So whoever else had, like if they had 5 pairs of Jordans and you had three, then you had
I got
eight.
8. Hey,
So yes, sir. So we were always, and then the dancing was always a thing. Back in the days with VHS, what we used to do, we used to record the music videos and learn the dances, and
yeah.
then like pause it and then try to figure out how to do it, then rewind and try it, and pause and try to figure out how to do it. And then we trying to record something. You remember when they didn't have the thing on the back of the thing? You put the
Oh,
tape on the back. You
oh
put the tape
yeah,
on the
for
back,
sure.
whatever you put to
Hey,
record. So, bro, we would be watching BET. We'd be watching videos all day long and literally be dancing until we could figure it out. So finally,
hey,
bro, when we be in school, whether it be whatever pep rally, it don't matter what it is. It's like, okay, so we're gonna be going in, and hey, we're gonna go in. And bro, still to this day, that's one thing for sure. When I used to, there was one year I did like 7 weddings or 10 weddings,
uh,
and people kept asking for me to do their weddings. I think one, because I was younger, and then two, what used to happen is if Deborah and I would go to the reception, right? It was like culture shock. They'll be
yeah,
like, "That pastor dances," and bro, we'd
yeah.
be going in, bro, we'd
So,
be going in.
like, bro, and I think it's amazing, bro, for people to see that because I think like growing up, man, um, going to church, man, you really didn't see your pastor as a person, right? You just
Mm,
seen them through like the lenses of a position, and so I think now in this newer age, younger, now you starting to see your pastor be a little bit more relatable, man. Can't like speak to that, like how intentional are
yeah,
you
yeah,
like going to a reception, showing them, hey, I know the latest dances, I can dance, but I love God as well. Like,
yeah.
how important is that to you? And then how are you intentional about going about doing that?
It's a great question. So, okay, it's very important because for us, for Deborah and I, one thing that's important to us is if you're doing what you're doing, like go all out with it. Meaning, if we're gonna go and pray, we're gonna pray hard, right? If we're gonna worship, we're gonna worship hard. Just like
Mm,
if a friend is gonna have a reception, we're gonna celebrate hard. We can celebrate and not sin and not be giving into the flesh and having a good time and it still be
yeah,
good.
yeah,
Like so, the reason why it's important is because I'm going to turn gears here a little bit. The reason why it's important is because we have to remember the Bible says that what pleases God. I'm paraphrasing it. Is faith like a child. So faith like a child. The reason why the scripture talks about faith like a child, it's like a total dependency on God, where we're not depending on ourselves. And the aspect of
Mm.
our the child part of us is where our freedom is as well. So it's almost like God delights in us finding freedom in Him, like how a child would be. And the reason why that's important, like you said, you nailed it. Like, we're Christians, we love Jesus, we're filled with the Holy Spirit, and we're human too. And the part of us that's human, God actually uses that to even give joy. Like the word enjoy, enjoy is talking about joy inside. So what do you do that you enjoy that brings joy in your life? Obviously, that's not causing you to sin.
Yeah.
That joy, yes, the joy of the Lord is our strength. We know that. But most of the time, those things that bring joy are not always spiritual things. So if it
Mm.
brings joy for me to go play football and it makes me feel young, it makes me feel like a kid, and there's that childlike part of my faith that's growing, that's still depending on God, that's something that actually is going to be healthy for me. Because if I become preoccupied only with my spiritual well-being
Mm.
and lose sight of the things that actually makes me human, that makes me relatable to other people, there's another part of my freedom as a child of God that I'm not tapping into. And I see people do this all the time. You see pastors that get so lost and deep in like the spiritual stuff, which is not bad, but
Yeah.
then like their kids just want them to play catch with them or just want them to
Yeah.
watch a movie. Like my wife and I, whenever kids come over, we watching Encanto with them, we
Hey.
watching Raya the Dragon with them, we watching whatever, because it's like, man, the kids enjoy this, we can enjoy this with them. So I'm saying that the parts that makes us human are is healthy for us, because that's how we get refreshed, that's how we get renewed, that's how we connect with other people. And also too, there's people who don't have a relationship with God that might not connect with you yet spiritually, and through
No.
that regular conversation talking about stats on sports, right, or
Mm.
talking about movies on TV, those create opportunities for people to see, man, you know what, let me connect with this person. And they can
Yeah.
actually, it actually begins to soften their hearts to be open to receiving the gospel. You run
Mm.
out and meet somebody for the first time and say, listen, God so loved the world, He gave His only Son. You know, if you don't have a relationship with God, you're going to hell.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, might work for some people,
Yeah.
but it might not work for any other people. So I think the reason why I think it's powerful you asked this question, Jeremy, is because I used to struggle with that. I used to feel like, dang, people are going to think I'm not a Christian if they
Mm.
see me bopping.
Mm.
Or they're going to
Yeah.
think I'm not a Christian if they see
Yeah.
me, whatever, like doing whatever kind of dances. Like it might maybe ruin my testimony. But there's a difference between doing things that are like sinful and fleshly and
Mm.
things that's just fun. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So if I'm at the reception, I'm not gonna drink. I don't think that necessarily drinking is wrong.
Mm.
Obviously, the Bible talks about getting drunk, but I do know that there's temptation. I know people have
Mm.
addictions, and
Yeah.
if something is leading you to sin, maybe it's better that you don't partake in it. So which
Mm.
is not what this is about, obviously. But if I'm at the reception and the song come on, I'm not gonna be getting behind someone that's not my wife. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna be, getting drunk. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be on a dance floor with Deborah. We're gonna be
Yeah.
dancing hard, and we're gonna be fully into that moment. And I personally believe that pleases God, because it's like, man, look at my kids having fun, and they're not doing anything that's causing anyone to sin.
Mm.
So I do used to struggle with it. I'm like,
Yeah.
dang, like they're gonna look at me and say, yo, I thought he was a pastor. Why he doing that? And what I'm realizing, bro, and it's hard, is I'm realizing that if people feel that way sometimes, especially if it's not anything in your heart that you're doing that's causing someone to stumble, but if people are maybe legalistically offended by something you're doing that you're really not causing
Mm.
an offense, like it's different from things you have like control over. Like if I go preach at a church that prefers suits, I don't think
Yeah.
that's a big deal, because they just need a suit. Like it's not like
Yeah.
something that's going to change who I am.
Change you.
But
Yeah.
there are some things that could hinder somebody from can be a distraction for someone. But
Yeah.
there also are people that's going to just not like what you do, and that's just who they are. Like
Back.
you can't. They're going to be mad if you do something that you don't want to do. They're going to be mad if you do something you do want to do. You might as well find your freedom and who God has made you to be, embracing those things, because those things makes you unique. It makes you you, and people will connect with that and relate to that, which I think is very important.
Man, I'm over here trying to. I'm over here trying to get cause bruh, what you said was so much, bruh, and it was so good. So the first thing, bruh, I just want to say is you just really blessed me that when you said that God wants us to, when He says one of the interpretations from a childlike faith, man, when you say total dependency on God, because I've been finding myself like even when I played football and and even now, right? And just getting to this point, the more I'm studying and growing in my walk with God, is like realizing like, yo, it's really not me, right? It's like, bro, I can't do this in my own, even when I think it's my own strength, it's not my strength. So it's like having that balance where I'm confident in myself, knowing that I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me, but knowing that ultimately it's not me, it's God. And so when you say, so when I may feel bad, like, man, you ain't you know what I'm saying? You got to be more It's like, no, I got that self-confidence, but I understand that it's not me at all, that this is all God. When you say like that childlike faith, so that right there, that blesses me to know like, hey, this is a place where God want me to be, to
Yeah.
totally know that it's me, that it's, I mean, not me, but that it's him. Like
Yeah.
God wants me to walk away from a situation, and that's sometimes that's why he do, like you said, does allow us to experience certain things, because like my wife, she sent me a post the other day. It says that, you know, God will might allow a situation to get so bad to where you look around, you know that the only person that got you out was him. And you know what I mean? And so I appreciate you for sharing that, man. That blessed me, man. And then when you talk about, you know, not being skeptical, can I do this? Can I do that? I wonder how people going, you know, they might not think I'm a Christian or whatnot. And my wife said this too, man. And she was just like, you know, you gotta show people Christ before you can tell them, right? So people look at you first, right? And then they, a lot of times they ask you about it. But if I just come beat you over the head, hey, like you said, hey, you need to get saved, you need to, like, bro, I didn't even ask you that. But people can look at the way you live, and even in those settings, because they was trying to trip up on Jesus. Why Jesus hanging with them? Jesus
Yep.
ain't
Yep.
supposed to be. No. Like, he goes in and he changes the room. Like, he could go sit with them, but they know something different about him. So when you go, and like me and my wife, you know, we'll go out. We used to go out. You know what I'm saying? We'll go out to maybe you might go to a club, or might go to a lounge or whatnot. But when we go out, our friends know, hey, they don't do this, XYZ. Like, we're not perfect, but
Right.
they respect who we are, and it shows them that, hey, we can go out too and love God.
Yep.
And so, man, I think that is so powerful, man. I seen my pastor, Bishop Walker. He went to the college, and he was dancing to Kurt Franklin and them on campus with the college students. That probably blowed some of their mind. Like, my pastor is out here dancing, like, and he loved Jesus, and he studied. I know he studied his word more than me, because you know what I'm saying. He preaching every Sunday, just like I know
Yep.
you are, right? So I just think, man, that's amazing, bro, that you can go into those settings and be who you are authentically in Christ, but be who you are when you talk about just being a man, being
Yeah.
carnal, being a person. And man, that it says so well, because I grew up and I didn't hear. I heard more about what you're supposed to do for the Lord as far as spiritually. You know,
Right.
this is what you're supposed to do. And it's like, then as I started getting older and I got to college and I was going to different churches, and like the church I go to now, Mount Zion, they started talking about businesses and your endeavors and
Yep.
books. And I'm like, hold on. So you talk about I could go accomplish goals and dreams and love God? And I think so many times we get fixated on just your spiritual gifts. Yeah. But it's still other things that God wants us to create and use that platform to bring people to Christ, man.
That's it.
Man, that was good, bro. Hey, so stand on that. Talking about faith, bro. Which you know what I'm saying, ever since I knew you, bro, especially, man, just seeing it on display when we got into high school, and just seeing y'all lead the club, and having prayer around the pole, bro. Like, when did you get to that point where you said, no, I'm gonna have my own relationship? I know my mom introduced me to Christ, but I'm gonna have my own relationship with God.
Yeah. For me, it was in sixth grade, sixth, seventh grade. I remember at that time we were having this. It was like a youth conference at the church, where
Mhm.
like everybody was giving their lives to the Lord and getting saved. And I remember coming forward because everybody else did first,
Yeah, yeah.
personally, and then I can't say I really had a real relationship with the Lord at the time. Then the following year, it was like my seventh grade year, and I remember going to the altar one time, just feeling a conviction that I was coming to church. I was coming because my mom was having me go, but I really didn't like. truly have a personal relationship with Jesus. So I remember that day. It was only when the person who was preaching preached that day. There was only two of us that walked forward, maybe three. So it was a little embarrassing because
Yeah.
you're already involved and stuff, and it's like nobody else came, and it wasn't like it's a big church. That's why
Yeah.
it's like it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
everybody see like what he's doing. He you know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder what he's
Yeah.
doing. So I just remember knowing I needed to go, and I just something needed to change, man. I was like, man, I need a relationship with God. And so from that point on, honestly, everything changed. So uh, goals, not goals, I should say desires and even focus. So now, like, what I majority spent my time doing around that time was going to be Bible studies with other people. We were in different groups before. Small group was a word. Remember
Yeah.
all these
Small
words for
group.
everything. It was not. Yeah, we were in small groups. Youth leaders. There were leaders that were crucial in that actual development process. Now, I ain't gonna lie. In the beginning, I was a little extreme, so I was like cutting everything out.
Yeah.
I was like, no music, no
Yeah.
movies, no nothing. And I was very extreme. I think the intention was pure, but obviously
Yeah.
it's just the zeal.
Yeah.
So at that point for me, it just clicked for me because I was just like, man, I just was talking to God. I was like, man, what? I wonder if I got saved and took God seriously now, like, and whatever, what, not knowing what the future will hold, not knowing what anything would happen, like, what would it, what, how can God be glorified through me if I chose to surrender to Him as early as I could and not wait?
Yeah.
So from that point on, man, it was just focused. Now, granted, like you said, everyone has their struggles and their temptations and areas where we all need to be sanctified and purified and become more like Christ. But since seventh grade, at that point, it was just what it was. So I was like,
Yeah.
the thing that makes the what makes Kevin unique is going to be God, the relationship with the Lord. So I'm okay
Yeah.
with that. I'm okay, and everyone's different, right? I'm okay with that being my brand, and
Yeah.
that's why I put Rev Kev on stuff. I'm okay with being branded by the actual thing that I can brand the best and present is Christ. And I know everyone's calling is different. It's not saying like everybody needs to do it how I'm doing it. I just,
Yeah.
in my story, I
Yeah.
know that I can't do it in my own strength. I
Yeah.
know I'm not that good. I know that by myself, it's not going to make much of a difference. So my personal brand, whatever you want to call it, is Him. And that is the only thing I'm constantly having to remind myself that sets me apart to be able to reach people. And you
Yeah.
saw it in high school. You saw it. Like, it was strange. It actually surprised me that it didn't throw people off.
Yeah.
I was surprised. Like
That.
the dudes in high school, there was like, yo, Kev. It was like
Yeah.
Kev. It's like, yo, he had his Bible. He got, like, it didn't throw nobody off. It seemed. I guess it was just authentic. So
Yeah.
I remember even the senior year. I remember senior year I didn't go to prom, and I remember Ernest bragged, and he was like, bro, you not coming? I was like, bro, I don't know if I want to go, man. I'm just trying. He's like, bro, we know you a Christian, man. Just come, like, just come. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's
Hey,
like,
that
bro,
sound
just
like
come.
Ernest.
you know,
Yeah.
you know how he
Hey.
is.
Yeah.
But that's I think for me, that's when I began to realize I needed a relationship with the Lord, and choosing to have one, that became a thing that would draw certain people to me so I can actually minister or serve them or pray for them.
Yeah.
I'm just like, man, I don't need anything else. Like, I could just
Yeah.
keep this and keep this thing going forever. So I think that's when faith became real for me, seventh grade. But honestly, faith became, which we're gonna talk about later. I know I'm gonna go into that, but that's when the faith foundation became real. But
Yeah.
I think everybody goes through seasons, which I won't go into right now, where it becomes real.
Yeah.
like
Definitely.
like trials and tests and
Definitely.
challenges, and that aspect came later. But foundation faith came in seventh grade.
Nah, definitely, man. And I like, hey, I don't want. We gonna be definitely gonna get that, bro. I want to. I'm gonna make sure I respect your time too, man. Quick question now. Let me ask you this: knowing what you know now and who you are now, do you think, looking back, if you were in high school, would you have gone to prom? Like looking back.
Yeah, I think so. Only because I never at the time, back then I didn't have the full understanding of like identity as I'm
Mhm.
learning now.
Yeah.
So I didn't even think about the aspect of prom that I would have enjoyed.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I was
Yeah.
just like, nah, I don't need to go to that. I don't need to spend money on whatever.
Yeah.
So I think I would
Okay.
have went specifically because I think I could have went and still enjoyed myself and had fun.
Facts.
I could have
Yeah.
been with other people having fun. That's why I probably would have gone because I could have seen myself still enjoying and having fun.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I respect that, bro, because like it's stuff in high school how I looked at it spiritually, bro. Like I was on some like confusing works with like some like OCD type stuff. Like you get what I'm saying? Like thinking that actually what I did um determined if I was gonna have a good game or not. But I struggled with that for years.
Wow.
Like I'm like, man, dang, I sinned, I messed up. Oh shoot, I'm gonna have a bad game. Right? But it's like, but that was me battling
Wow.
that was me battling with perfectionism, bro.
Wow.
Like I battled with perfectionism for a good minute, bro. Like even until like professionally. But as I like grew in my walk with God, God was like had to like really reveal to me like, bro, you know you're a sinner regardless, right? And any time you feel perfect, you know that's just the enemy wanting you to live in a false identity. Because the moment
Wow.
you feel perfect, that means that you know that's a lie. So whenever you get in that place of feeling perfection, like feeling like you're perfect, that's a lie from the enemy. But I thought it was the other way around. Like when I felt filthy and dirty and wrong, I thought that was that's not what I'm supposed to. Nah, that's what I'm supposed to be. Cause
Yeah.
that's when I'm humble. That's
Yeah.
when I know that hey, God love me. But when I think I got it all together, then that's when I'm, you know what I'm saying, false humility and different things like that, man. But yeah, man, we're gonna I don't, you know what I'm saying, I want to respect your time, bro. Hey, but we're gonna transition because I know your faith, right, plays a huge part in who you are as a husband. And now Kev and Deborah, we said this on the live the other a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Kev and Deborah knew each other in high school. I knew Deborah, I knew Kevin, right? Everybody in the school, if we take a poll right now, on a scale of 1 to 10 in high school, did you think Kev was going to marry Deborah? 10 meaning yes, 1 no. Everybody on 10. We knew Kev and Deborah was going to be together, bro. So, like, talk about, I know we talked on it, but hey, this is a different show. So, tell us about how you and Deborah came to be as husband and wife, bro. Let me hear it, dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, we became friends in ninth grade. I met her because of her brother. I met her brother first. We went on this. Her brother and I went on this men's conference, and he said he had a sister. So I eventually met his sister in ninth grade. So
Yep.
we became friends at that point. We did have feelings for each other, but at that time, I just knew it was just way too early. I was way too young, and I was not. And for us at that time, now remember, I'm in ninth grade. I told you I got saved in seventh grade, like
Yeah.
real commitment to Lord in seventh.
Yeah.
So we were all like holding each other accountable. We were all praying for our future wives. We were like,
Yeah.
we're not gonna date no one until we find our wives and all that. So in my mind, I just did the math. I was just like, it's it's highly unlikely that I'm gonna get with somebody in ninth grade and we're gonna go all the way to marriage. Like there's just
Fact.
no way. Like I was so young, so I just was like, it's not gonna really work.
Yeah.
So we liked each other, but we knew
Uh,
the timing was not gonna work. So we decided not to, which was a very very hard decision. And then
mhm.
every now and then, my wife would be like, "You sure, man? Come on, we both pray, we both love the Lord." Like, and I just knew it wasn't time. And I'll give her these long lectures, and she would tell you about it now. I would give her these lectures about
Yeah.
like who I am and who I am in Christ. I don't know who I am yet. I'm still learning, growing. What we get. I would give her these lectures. She was like, "Get out of my face!" Like,
Yeah.
So finally, fast forward all the way to college. Went away to college, but throughout that time, we still had a really really good friendship, which is a good nugget. We talk about this all the time. Like, just a nugget, I'm going to say, like, the Bible talks about in Titus how the wives are supposed to like, or excuse me, it says the wives like love your husbands. Paraphrasing that scripture, what's powerful about that passage is that in the Bible, there's different forms of love. There's agape, there's eros, and there's phileo. Agape is unconditional love, phileo is friendship, brotherly love, and then eros is like the romantic, erotic type of love. But in that passage of scripture, which is very powerful, that passage of scripture, when it's telling the young women to love their husbands, it's actually using the word phileo,
Mm.
which the reason why that's good, and this is Tackle Thursday, baby, so we give it to you. The
Hey, we
reason why
give it
that's
to him.
good, the reason why it's good is because a lot of husbands love their wives, but not a lot of husbands like their wives. And that's the thing. So
Hey.
the like is the friendship. Like I gotta actually enjoy your company. Not
Yeah.
that love is not something you enjoy too, but it's the like. It's us being at night cracking jokes.
Yeah.
It's us like literally. My wife and I laugh all the time. Sometimes we laugh so much, it's like, damn, do anybody else have this much fun?
Hey.
But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that the friendship that we developed over the years was God's way of us actually developing a filial friendship love that was going to be fueling our relationship later. So going into ninth grade, went away to school in Lakeland. I didn't even know she was coming to Lakeland. I actually was not liking that she was coming to Lakeland because I felt like there was some unfinished business that we didn't really resolve yet. So we finally, make a long story short, we have a conversation about getting together and making it official. But then she wanted me to talk to her, or I wanted to talk to her dad first. I know it was something that was important to her. So I actually went ahead and said, hey, let me talk to your dad first before we make it official. Spoke to her dad. He gave me all these rules just to be in a relationship with her, not even for marriage. I'm like, okay, all right. So talked to him, then went home. And then the following Monday, which was June 16th, 2008, we went out. We went to Cold Stone. We went to Pompano Beach. We went to Carrabba's, and we made it official. And the rest, brother, is history.
History. Hey, hey, what you said about that friendship is real, bro. And I got to see it in my own marriage. Me and Brittany being friends first, right? And then sex not being on the table, right? And just getting because I think to the point, loving your wife, right? A lot of that can physically that can add like, man, oh, I love, you know what I mean, right? The feeling or the emotions in a sense, but liking them is personality, intangibles, their character, who they are, right? And man, it's so important because I even tell my scholars now, because teaching and them, talking to them, I'm like, yo, get to know them because there will be times in your marriage where you may not have sex, whether one person don't feel good, you know what I'm saying, they're on their monthly. So, you know what I mean? You got to go through a time where you might not have, but guess what? Even if there's no sex, you got friendship.
Yeah.
And you laugh and you joke
and
it's just like you don't even feel the absence, you know what I mean, of man, we have because it's bigger than that. It's more than that. Is it important? Of course it is, right? But that friendship, bro, is so important, man. And man, like, I was watching one of my fraternity brothers tagged me on one of your posts, and I went and listened to it, bro. And it was talking about your song. I believe it was talking about intentional love, right? And so, what do you believe your God ordained role as a husband is to Deborah? Or, right, what do you believe your role and then the roles of husbands in general should be to our wife?
Whew. Wow.
Yeah. Hey, let us
man.
know, bro. We trying to get 9 years in like you, dog.
Hey, okay, so I know what video you're talking about. What I talk about in that video, which I think is important, I talk about the importance of studying your spouse, and then you throw in there, like what you said, like
study them like a playbook, and then go
like a
execute
playbook
as a husband.
Yeah, playbook, execute as a husband. I think that the role, if we're talking from a biblical standpoint, the role of husbands, it says husbands are to love their wives as Christ loved the church, and it goes like on. It's like that he gave his life for her, and then it talks about like to wash her with the word, and there's all these things that's listed out as far as God using us to try to embody how He is with us towards our wife. So I think that one of the first things that's important as a husband is we gotta love our wives. Like, I know it sounds super cliche, but the reason I wrote this song "Intentional Love" is because love is something that you have to make personal. Meaning, it has to be something that your wife that you do that your wife knows you love her. You know what I'm saying? So, an intentional love is hard to cultivate over the years because it's easy that we know we love each other. Yeah. But the intentional love, like today, and I don't always get this right, so I'm not even acting like I'm a pro. Like today, I know this week that she didn't have a chance to cook as much. Sometimes we tag team, but she really do more cooking than me, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I knew that she didn't have time, so I was on my way home. So I was like, okay, instead of coming home and seeing if she didn't have anything, I know I'm going to jump on Taco Thursday. Let me get some sushi. So I was about to just get sushi for me. I was like, okay, she probably didn't eat either, so I got some sushi for her. And when I got home, she texted me right when I got in the house and said, hey, I cooked something on the stove. I don't know, whatever, you can get it. I was like, oh, snap. I actually was thinking of you at the same time.
Yeah.
And the reason why that's important to Deborah, might not be important for everybody else, is she has a lot on her plate. So things like serving her makes her feel loved. Things like considering her makes her feel loved. Words make her feel loved. So I think, number one, like, you have to love your spouse in the way God has created them to receive love. Not how you want them to receive love, not how you receive love, but how God created them to receive love. And that's not always easy when you might naturally give love a certain kind of way, because how you naturally give love might not be the way that they're comfortably receiving love. So I think and the reason why that's really important when you link it to being a Christian is because I believe that God, we can always ask the Lord to show us how to love our wives and how to love our wives better and how to love our wives more effectively and how to love our wives in a way that it's actually going to serve them in a way that they can receive.
Yeah.
So in the love, what is love, right? Love always protects, like the scripture says. So wives need protection, like, right? Spouses need protection. They need that feeling of like, I'm safe with you, whether that's safe to tell you stuff, whether that's safe in terms of real safety. Like if my wife texts me, I'm at the church and she says, hey, someone knocked on the door. I pull up the ring. I'm looking to see who's in the front. And if it's something like we may not know, I probably would drive back just so she feels safe. You know what I'm saying? And that's important to her. And I remember even one time she was working on something and she went to the other room and there's a candle that she had up and the candle actually was burning the dust. So then she called me. So then anyway, she put the fire out. She comes back home. And then when I got home, which was important, I got home, everything was clear and I prayed in the room. Right. And then I even sent her a prayer while I was still at the office. And my prayer for her, the prayer I was praying for her was that when she go in that room, because that room, she does her therapy session. In that room, we have stuff for future, like some things that we stocking up on, and if and when the Lord opens the door for us to have children. In that room, she's planning some of her video stuff, right? So I can't allow the enemy to cause that room to be a room that is a trigger for fear or trauma. So I sent her a prayer, praying and asking the Lord that when she walked in that room, she's not feeling fearful or traumatic because of the fire. I was like, Lord, remove the trauma, remove the fear, remove the anxiety, erase it from her mind. So that when she's stepping into the room where she's going to be able to serve and be effective, she's not having this fear. So that's that protection that we provide as a husband and saying, look, I got you. And wherever I can't, I can call on God to step in, right? I think provision is important. And provision is more than money, right? Now you got these bougie wives that want to have husbands that's rich, right? No offense to the wives. I'm not, but provision, like what are you providing for your spouse? And one thing that one of my friends who calls me out on this all the time, he said something so powerful. Women who have a relationship with God, they have such a powerful understanding of God as Father and God as having unlimited resources. If you think about like a daughter who's like a princess or a queen, they always know how to call on their dad. Like, you got me. I know you. They when they ask their dad for stuff, they're asking knowing that the resources and the supply is unlimited. So what happens is sometimes they come with that same mindset in the marriage, and sometimes constantly like, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this? And I'm the kind of person I was like, no, we can't. We ain't got that in the budget. Nope. What do you think it is? Like, you think it's? I'm like that sometimes. And my friend told me one time, he was like, yo, be careful not to allow your detail oriented personality or your logistical personality to cause you to stop your wife from dreaming and having faith. So if she has faith to believe that something is possible, don't try to shut that down just because you got logistics. Not that you need to splurge and run into bankruptcy. But I think that God creates the wife sometimes to be able to know that he's able to provide. So we are responsible as husbands to making sure that we're keeping that faith alive. So, okay, if Deborah's going to therapy, if Deborah's looking to get like her classes worked out, then it's my responsibility to see how can we go work that out together.
That's
and create a plan so that she can succeed. Right? It's why you're doing those TikTok videos with Brittany. You know what I'm saying? Like, she got a whole strategy and she's killing it. And I think that that's important. That provision for our wives is important. Providing safe spaces for protection, providing joy, providing resources, a strategic plan. Another thing that I think I was saying is the last thing for now is, and this is bad because we as men suck at it sometimes, we gotta initiate, man. Bro, there's so many husbands that do not initiate everything. Like, men are supposed to initiate, like, not be passive. And we naturally are going to be. We have a natural atom in us that is passive, that pulls back. But when we tempted to pull back, we got to push back forward. So if my wife says, man, I wonder when we're going to change that light, I need to be figuring out how we're going to change the light. And even if I can't do it myself, finding the answer for it. And initiating conversations. Or when wifey says, hey, I want to go to we need to figure out how we're going to do this. It's okay. Hey, let's get a meeting together. Let's put this on the calendar. Let's work this out. Let's put a plan together to push it. And initiating is exhausting, especially with, like you at school. You got the scholars you're raising up, coming home and then doing that for your kids. Coming home and doing that for your wife.
Yeah.
Initiating is exhausting, and it dispenses energy. And we need God to give us strength to do it. But when we stop initiating, man, it changes the tone in our homes, because now women have the ability to read environments and read the temperature and read like the atmosphere and feel the weight of a moment. When women, even if it's not necessarily tasked, when a man is being passive and pulling back, the wives automatically feel the weight. It's like now they're feeling the pressures on them, even if it's not them doing everything. But when a woman got like a person to co-labor with, where it's like, oh snap, I know that if I go to if I'm gonna work on this thing, he gonna work on this thing. Or it's that partnership, right? If they're gonna do this, then I'm gonna do this. Okay, you go there, I'm gonna go here. Or there's times where people invite us to stuff that we both can't go to. I'm like, hey Deb, won't you go and I'll stay and do this, or I'll go and you stay and do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that I'm telling you, we need to be initiating, man. We can't be passively. I see a lot of men that just be stuck playing video games and chilling, doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like, we need to get up and do stuff and put our hands to the plow and say, look, you didn't just marry me to just be chilling in here doing nothing. Like, I need to actually be putting action and taking initiative. And you should be able to know that my husband is going to do what he can. And if he don't have it, if he don't know it, he's going to go to God. He's going to find whatever resources he can to be able to put it together. Now, it's not a matter of taking over, because my wife is, to be honest, is more handy than me. Her dad comes from construction.
Yeah.
So she's naturally more handy than me. So it's not like, oh, men do this, women do this.
Yeah.
It's taking initiative. So if you were a man where you might be the kind of man that maybe you're the one who cooks, right? And your wife don't like to cook, then take initiative in that. So, all right, look, I'm going to cook as long as, how about you do the dishes. I'll cook, you do the dishes. Like, it's that leadership that I think women need. And then men be like, oh, man, you know, women are trying to take over men's position, and women are trying to, it's like, no, like, men are not taking initiative like we need to. Yeah. And I think that helps women to feel like, okay, I got a strong man, not necessarily, you know, strong and like showing overt strength, like what the world would call strength, because you can be quiet and still be strong. But it's like, I got a man who's strong, who's taking initiative, and I know we end this together. That's my thought.
Hey, not facts, bro. Like, when you say like being passive in certain areas, like, I could look back and think about certain things that I was passive about, right? Because I'm like, oh, Brittany got this, you know what I mean? And she did, but not taking into consideration the weight that she could feel, or her feeling like, you know, oh man, I got to do all, you know what I'm saying? Well, I just take care of this. I end up figuring, and realizing like, Jeremy, like, you know, you can help with that. Like, you can, you know, you can learn about that. You can take that off her plate as well, man. It's so true. And then, like you said, when you talked about studying your wife, right? Because they're telling us what it is that they want without telling us what they want. And I did like something funny over the last week or so, right? So I didn't went in two places. Before I got her, I said, "You want some?" She said, "No." I came back out of the store, got in the car. She said, "You got me some?" You said you didn't want nothing. You feel me? You said you didn't want nothing. Now I bet you when I go back in the store and she say no, I'm coming out. I'm coming out with something, bro. Yes, hey, whether she liked the candy, she wanted, right? But it's so true, like, you know, and now I, you know, even over the last few years, is trying to listen more, right? So when it was time to get a gift, I already remember what she said. She said that, or I jotted down, or like it was something she wanted me to put together for her birthday. It was something her mom got her, but she wanted me to put together for her birthday, and she thought I forgot about it. But I just kept it here. I did it. It was something small, but it's like, oh, you remember. Like you say, you took initiative. I didn't have to remind you, man. So definitely ask me, man. Hey, we definitely, if you can do more, man. And it might not be financially at the moment, but I think what brings my wife joy is seeing me go out and try. Seeing me go out and chase my goals and dreams. Because her thing is, hey, Jeremy, I want our kids to grow up, and I want them to see a man that chases his dreams, his goals, take care of his family, but that dreams and that's active, you know what I mean, in life and in pursuit of, you know, happiness, joy, you know, all of that good stuff. But I think that brings her joy. I know it does. You know, she tells me. But definitely, bro. So the moment we've been waiting for, right, man? I definitely want to segue into your book, bro. Right, and so, ladies and gentlemen, my boy Rev Kev, all right, he got a book that's coming soon, right? Dropping soon. You go on this page, Rev Kev, on IG. You can see the promos and different things. The book title is Beautiful Suffering. That's the topic we tackling today. And so, man, we gonna get into that, man. So tell the people and myself about the book, man. Beautiful Suffering.
Yes, sir. So I got this is the proof copy
Ooh,
that I'm looking at, or
let's
whatever, so you
go.
guys can see it. Man, it's unreal, bro. That's the
Yeah.
first thing, but this thing unreal. Like, you never imagine in a million years all the different books you've seen or read that like you would write one. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
But bro, this honestly, I'm gonna just be real. This thing it came, it came through pain, straight up. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. This book came through pain, and sometimes like we look at people's lives and we envy the things that they're doing, but we don't want like the pain that they experience to get
mm.
it right.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Word.
bro, it came through pain, man. And long story short, back in 2019, around this time actually, 2019. Um, this point, we're 30 years old at this point, and I started going through a lot of like changes, and I didn't know what was going on, like physical changes, like health changes, and
Mm.
like I remember I tried to do like a detox. I was trying to like get into like clean eating, whatever, but then the detox went crazy. So I was like having energy crashes. I was like feeling anxious. I was feeling exhausted. I was feeling fatigued, bro. And to even be even more honest, bro, my testosterone levels was dropping. Then like I was off balance hormonally. It was just I didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah,
So April went on. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bounce back. You know how we are. I'm gonna bounce back. Then May came. So May came, same. June, same. I remember even preaching in June this sermon and thinking like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be like we're gonna be making it the other way, bro. July, same. August, same. So, bro, to be like transparent. So like now I went to the doctor and they're like, hey, you know, maybe you need to consider trying testosterone replacements. So I'm like, man, I ain't but doing no, I ain't no animal putting no hormones in me.
yeah,
So like, I'm like, maybe I'm being prideful. Let's try it for a few weeks, see if it helps. Bro, I took the testosterone replacements. Then it dropped. Then my estrogen levels was increasing. So I was having hot flashes. So I'm having hot flashes. I'm having energy
yeah,
crashes. I'm pissed. I'm like, man, this is dumb. This is stupid, right? Then like,
yeah,
bro, it was the worst. And I took all kinds of tests. I was checking to see if I was diabetic. I was checking to see if it was blood pressure. Checking to see, bro, nothing. So September, October, November, December, bro. By the time I hit January 2020, bro, I was depressed. I was just
yeah,
depressed. I was like, God, this doesn't make any sense. There's no answers. I'd rather you give me a diagnosis. At least it's something I could track. But
yeah,
what he started showing me in that time was that it wasn't one thing. Like over a period of time, what God was showing me was I had a lot of habits that was catching up. So I was experiencing burnout. I didn't realize it was burnout, right? I was experiencing some depression. I didn't realize it was some depression. And I was experiencing some crashes because after your body is trying to tell you stuff and you're not listening, you're trying to be
yeah,
the Superman and try to be superhero and come through for everybody. Your body would be like, no, you ain't. And then the
yeah,
scripture in Psalm 23 says, He makes you lie down beside green pastures. He's like, no, you
mm,
ain't. So my body's been trying to give me signals for the last 10 years and I was ignoring them. I'll probably eat one meal a day and celebrate that. Man, yo, I'll eat if I can. Right. And now it's like, bro, if I skip a meal or two, I'm tired. I'm
yeah,
getting a little dizzy sometimes. It's just
yeah,
like, yo, you should see, bro. I got like, I always be having protein bars with me. I'll be having snacks with me, bro. I'm like, man, this is dumb. But
yeah,
so this is the point, bro. Like, so 2020 of January, low place, saw a therapist, and they were like, hey, man, you need to take some time off. You've been going hard. You're always going hard. Let me take some time off. So February, I go and talk to my pastor to see if I could take a sabbatical, which would be healthy. I felt would be healthy for me.
yeah,
So took a 5 week sabbatical, came back, and the pandemic hit. So the pandemic hit, and everything changed.
yeah,
So bro, I wasn't sleeping. It was bad. So anyway, this is what started happening. I started realizing, bro, and this is where the topic comes from. I started to kind of realize that, man, what if God is allowing this for my good? Like I had to stop praying, like God heal me or whatever. I wasn't sick, like God, whatever, make me back again. But He was
Yeah.
showing me that, and one of my friends was talking with this too. He was showing me that if He restored me how I wanted Him to, I would have went back to habits that got me to where I was. So it was like it's better for Kevin to have these limitations that forces me to slow down. So when it hit the fourth hour and I grab something and I'm feeling some of the symptoms, it's better for me to go, all right, it's time to eat lunch. Game
Mm,
time, take a break,
yeah. Yeah.
right? Or all right, time to go to bed because if we doing too many late nights, too many studio sessions, the testosterone levels gonna drop, and I can't handle low that we gotta keep the T levels up. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Yeah.
it was just became a thing. So I was like, man, God, I wonder if you're allowing this for a reason. Then I just started journaling. I was just journaling. I was blogging. And I started realizing, like, as I was blogging, I would share some of the thoughts with Deborah. And she was like, yo, Kevin, I really think this could help a lot of people. So I started realizing a lot of people was going through, like, some stuff, bro. Like,
Yeah.
some pain, was going through, like, praying for kids. And people were sick. People was dealing with cancer. People was dealing with depression. People was dealing with all kinds of issues. And a lot of the times, especially in the church, they wouldn't know how to talk through these things because sometimes when you're going through pain, it could appear like you don't have faith. So people would be like feeling like, man, if I go and try to talk through what I'm going through, it's gonna just look like I don't have faith.
Yeah.
And I'm not believing that God's gonna heal me. But what people don't realize is that sometimes God doesn't always heal us physically, but He's doing a deeper work in our character, in our life, that's more important than a physical symptom. So if He's teaching you forgiveness, or He's teaching you rest, or He's teaching you joy, or teaching you family, or teaching you these other things, sometimes it may require you to walk through pain. Not that He's inflicting the pain or causing the pain, but more like He's using and repurposing the pain.
Yeah.
So finally, I just said, you know what, man? If this is how it's going to be, it might be good. If this is what it's going to look like for Kevin getting to 40, to another 10 years, then let's get it. So let's start. So I started embracing it. I was like, all right, I'm going to pack snacks. I'm going to pack water. I just embraced it. I was like, let's do it. This is where we're at. And we're going to keep moving forward. We're going to rest when we need to rest. I'm not going to keep saying yes to everything. I was doing like 3 ministries at the time. I was like, all right, let's start getting down to one ministry. I'll only be one person. Starting to say no sometimes. Starting to say, be careful what I'm saying yes to. Counting the cost. All of that. Just kind of just reorienting everything that we've been doing. And bro, blogging. And then I just was looking at the thoughts one day. I was like, man, I think Deborah was like, I think you should write a book. And I was like, ain't nobody writing no book. Like all these words and stuff like that. I said, pretty crazy. So I
Yeah.
started researching like the process. I'm like, okay, what is the process of writing a book? And I saw something that said like each chapter should be like 3,000 to 5,000 words. If each chapter is not 3,000 to 5,000 words, it's just a blog. That I got more overwhelmed.
Okay.
Then it was like, okay, you need to do website, all this thing. I saw this thing. So I was like, you know what? It was last week of December of 2020. And I just said, you know what, God, I'm gonna just try. I said, I'm gonna just try to see what I could come up with. And by the end of the day, let's see how many words I get to by the end of the day. And I'll tell you, that's how I know it's God, bro. I'm not even me. It
Yeah.
was a Monday. By the end of the day at like 5, 6 p.m., I had 10,000 words. And it was in one day. So I said, whoa. And I said, okay, this is bigger than me. I need to keep going. So Tuesday,
Yeah.
another 10,000 words. Wednesday, another 10,000 words. Thursday, and that was, I think, Christmas Eve, another 10,000 words. Friday, another 10,000 words. So, bro, 50,000 words later, and 1 week, I had a whole rough draft.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, yeah, God is all over this. Like, we got to get this thing done. We got to get this thing popping. So, bro, we finished it, the rough draft at that point, and now it just began this process of like, okay, God, the rough draft is done. Show me the steps. So we walk through the steps to actually get everything ready. And now,
Mhm.
like today, like I told you, we officially have a manuscript, bro. The thing is like 179 pages. It's like
Yeah.
12
Yeah.
chapters, like a whole book. But the reason I go back to it though, the reason why I feel like I wrote the book is because I believe that a lot of people are going through pain and will go through pain and will go through suffering. And my intention and my prayer is that this book can help. Honestly, it's more than a book, but this book can help um, guide people who are already going through pain and suffering to normalize it, to find God in it, or when suffering and pain comes in people's lives, that after they face the shock of the suffering and the pain, they figure, okay, what are my next steps? Okay, after I prayed, after I fasted, after I anointed people, after I got people praying over me, if I'm still feeling some of these things I'm going through, like what steps do I take? And
Yeah.
that's the reason why. So it's like partly it's spiritual and it's practical. Like I got a chapter here talking about snacks and scriptures. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you can quote scripture and you can have snacks. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's like you said, faith without works is dead. So I feel like people are going through pain and people need to know how to process the pain and find God in it, not just escape from it. And that's what the pandemic taught us. No one never would have thought like a global shutdown would take place. But it shows us that we got no control of the future. And there's some times in life where it's going to be pain and suffering that's going to come that we won't always be able to escape from. The
Yeah.
thought is that when those moments come, what do we do in it? How do we find God in it? And how can God use it to help other people?
Man,
That's a
hey, that's
mouthful.
powerful, bro. Repurpose your pain. Like you said, bro, thinking about what you go through, you know what I'm saying, when you in it, the pain we experience. And you know, like you talk about the pandemic. And that was the thing, like people were so focused, like, oh, I can't wait the next year. And my thing was, what if we don't know what 2021 looks like? I was like, so let's just focus on right now. And when we think about that pain, those that repurpose the pain of the pandemic, man, they launched businesses, wrote books. They went from speaking in public in person to killing the virtual game. Their
Yep.
business went virtual. So if we allow it and we look at it, like you said, get over the initial shock. We not like you said, you're not saying, hey, don't feel pain, because you're gonna feel it, right? You're gonna feel the actual emotions. You talked about your emotions, the raw emotions of feeling upset and looking at like, God, come on, like what's going on? But then you got to a point where you said, hey, I'm gonna repurpose this. And you looked at it as like, what if this is for my good? Man, that's hey, that blesses me to look at areas of my life or things that happen or even that have happened and said, okay, instead of me focusing on the fact that it has happened or I'm going through this, I'm experiencing, what is it that you're trying to teach me? What is it you want me to learn from this, man? So man, I love that, man. Beautiful suffering. The play on words, man, is so big because perspective is everything in
Yep.
life. You know what I'm saying? You can, like you say, like you can either look at it as, hey, I'm gonna suffer forever, or I'm suffering, woe is me, or you know what, not woe is me. How about there's purpose in what I'm going through? Man, hey, that's powerful, bro. That's definitely powerful. One thing, bro, that I seen you doing that blessed me, because me and my wife, we in the process of we wrote the book, we in the process of getting it published and things like that, man. Is I seen you recording the audio doing the audio book, bro. I told you that I was gonna ask you, but I'm like, bro, why not ask him on the show? Because there's other people out there want to write books too. So man, how are you going about doing your own audio book, man? Tell us, man, how you doing that?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm recording everything myself, obviously. So I got to get a good microphone. Obviously, any basic program that you can use to record. If you don't want to buy anything, just use GarageBand. It don't
Yeah,
matter. You just need basic, clean audio if you're trying to do it yourself. Or if you know somebody who do like engineering, you could ask them to record you. I'll tell you this, bro. I'm not going to even lie, bro. Boy, that it's tedious. Like you will be annoyed, you'll be frustrated. There was some chapters I'm reading, and I'm like, there's more in this book. I'm like, bro, I'm tired. Like
yeah.
so, bro. Uh, one thing I didn't do right, I would encourage you to do is maybe have a comfortable setup. I didn't
Okay.
really have a comfortable setup. I was in the
Okay.
closet because my
Yeah.
wife's always on her. I couldn't interfere with her Zoom stuff,
Yeah.
so I'm in the closet and it's like I'm standing reading from an iPad. So if you could
Yeah.
sit down maybe, and if you're doing it yourself, which I think everybody could do it themselves, to be
Yeah.
honest with
Yeah.
you, at least the recording part. If you want somebody like to edit it later, you can. But so comfortable place if you can, and like actually to be able to then walk through reading it. What I also did too is don't stop. If you first record, just keep going. So like what I did was like if I felt like I didn't say something clear, I would just repeat the line, then keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like so it's not like, oh, let me get it perfect. Let me just
Yeah.
repeat the line, keep going, keep going, keep going. Taking breaks, of course, I would also encourage you maybe set like daily goals. You can't get all of it at once. If you want to do like maybe 2 pages a day, or maybe like 5 pages a day, or 10 pages a
Mm.
day, or one chapter a day, that's very, very important. Now, I think the app is called Audio Mate. If I think it's
Uh,
something like that. I think it's called Audio
audio
Mate.
mates.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. If not, I'll text you it. This
Yeah.
app, a friend of mine, because I so I tapped out of the editing because I was just getting exhausted on editing. I said I did 4 chapters. I said I called some boys. I was like, "Yo, y'all boys need to jump in because I'm tired."
Yeah.
So one of my friends, he found, I think it's called Audio Man. I'll text it to you. So what this app does, it's for this. What it'll do is when you read, it'll take your file and then print out the words, right?
Mm.
Then the words that you will have printed out will go along with the file. So, and then they also have what you call it, notations that's symbolic of like breathing and like breaths, like I think
Okay.
it's a comma or a period. The reason why that's important is because when you see now the words, you could click the words and delete stuff, and it delete the file, and it delete the wave, the audio
Okay.
file.
Yeah.
Or if you see the comma that's of the breath, you could click it, delete it, and it'll take it out of the audio file. So then
Okay.
you could clean up the breaths like
Oh,
that.
I got you.
You understand
Wow.
what I'm
So you
saying?
take
So
the word
you could take
and
yeah.
the word would take the audio.
So imagine you record your podcast, right? And you got the audio file, and you plug and you put this plug-in on it. It'll
Yeah.
take and transcribe everything you said. If you said, "Everybody, this is JK," if you click "This is JK" and delete it, it'll take
It'll
it off
take
the
that.
file. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that make the edit process way faster,
Now let
just
me
because you're
ask you
trying to.
this, right? I'm sorry, man. You
No,
go
go ahead, go
ahead,
ahead,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, no,
Yeah.
no, go
So
ahead.
let me ask you this. So while you were reading, because I think it's a dope idea to do your own voiceover, bro. I even told my wife, I was like, "Hey, I seen Kel. He about to do his voiceover because it brings life to your book,
Yep.
right? When it's your voice. So like, are you doing like voice inflection, like when you're getting to maybe a sad part and you kind of and then you get to this joyous part? Like, are you bringing that energy, that character
Yeah.
in it?
Yeah. I'm even like telling jokes that's not in the book. Because if it comes and it's not and it seems like it works, it works. So I'll tell a joke. Like
Mm.
there's a part of the book I'm talking about like student loans and refund checks, and it brought me back to remembering some of those moments. So I just
Yeah, yeah,
take a little second and cut up a little bit.
yeah,
So yeah, if it's like funny, I'll make it funny. If it's like serious, more serious. So I'm not like reading it monotone at all.
yeah,
Like it
yeah,
sounds like how I'm talking to you right now.
man.
You know what I'm
Hey,
saying? Like because people connect with you, so you got to be you when you're reading it. You know what I'm saying?
that, bro. Like when I seen you doing that, man, that's what I was one man, and I think it's part of like just kind of because I didn't grow up as the only child, but ended up like last 7 years the only child, in the house. So kind of doing things individual as an individual, not really collaborating, and but I think as I grew up, even like the roommate, I thought I was a good roommate, but I was a little selfish as a roommate, right? My mama cooked the whole cheesecake. I kept the cheesecake in my refrigerator in my room, not where my roommates could get it. And so when I look back, I'm like, dang, but I was a stingy, little selfish, roommate. And so as growing up and as an entrepreneur and you know what I'm saying, just as a person, I'm like, man, I got to collaborate more, or I got to, follow support more, right? And so watching you do that, man, is so inspirational to me. Like I say, bro, I'm all alone. I'm like, bro, I gotta do it, man. So definitely salute to you on that, man. What would be one of the biggest pieces, like one piece of advice you would give to someone that's contemplating writing a book?
Honestly, I would say if you are contemplating writing a book, if you're on IG right now, or if you're gonna watch this later, um, it I'll talk to y'all that's on right now. If you're contemplating writing a book, um, I would say just start writing. So like I don't see my phone, but I had notes. Oh, obviously I'm using my phone for live. Duh. I had notes. I had notes like where I had topics, and I'll just keep writing notes. A good site you could use just to blog, substack.com is free. You could just write. You could just blog. So there's actually a lot of chapters from the book that's from my blogs. So I would just say start writing themes, start writing concepts, so just start writing, just do it. Because the thing is that you got to find a way to enjoy the process because it's going to take a long time. And if you're just thinking of the book up front, it might feel too overwhelming. for you, and you want to
Yeah,
start.
yeah,
So I'd say just start and just start writing. Even if it's just a blog that you got to do it. I'll also say something kind of what Jeremy pointed out earlier. I alluded to it a second ago, but I'll just say it again. Like, you got to enjoy it, man. Like, you have to enjoy what you're doing. If you're not enjoying writing or enjoying like the process, you're not gonna want to keep going, because you got to think about it. There's gonna be people who read it that's not gonna like it. It's gonna be, and then you might be tired of writing. So like,
yeah.
enjoy writing. I think the other thing too is what they tell you is like really, really zero in on something that you can write a lot about. So if it's something more like a revelation God has given you, like, let it be something that you can really talk a lot about. If it's your life, which is why I like people write about their lives, because everyone can talk about their lives.
Yeah,
But I would say,
facts.
like, write about something that you really could write about. When I saw that this topic was coming up everywhere that I was hearing, and like everyone was connecting and relating to it, I realized that the topic was big, right? Like, it
Mm,
was big and broad as something that can
mm.
be ongoing, and it's not just like one chapter. Suffering can relate to everybody. So I would say, like, really zone in on the main topic. That's why when Jeremy asked me to jump on this, the questions that he's asking, it's I don't want to say it's easy to answer, but it's clear for me to answer, because I took time to really try to make sure like I knew what the point was. Like, if there was one main point from the book, it's finding purpose in your pain. And I
Mm.
think that topic in and of itself. And bro, in the book, there's people who share their testimonies.
Yeah,
And when I asked them, I said, "Hey, I'm writing a book called Beautiful Suffering: Finding Purpose in Your Pain. I know some of the stuff that you've been through. Would you be open to sharing your testimony?" They all said yes. So, and it made it something easy that people could connect with. So find
yeah,
something that it's clear for you, and it's something big enough that you can talk about, that you can write about, that you can do videos about, that you can blog about, something in that kind of way. I also would say, like, community, like, for accountability. So tell some people that's close to you. Like, hey, look, I'm looking to take this journey. Hold me accountable. Check on how I'm doing with it. Check on how it's going. And I'll give you that access to be able to do something. Like, now I know that you can write a book. I'm gonna ask. I'm like,
hey,
yo,
yeah, 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 hey, yeah. Hold me accountable.
how's it going?
Yeah,
Like, what's the process? So, but that's important. Substack is great. I still have blogs that post on that, for sure. And like I said, enjoying writing, and definitely find a topic that is like, because what you'll find is, as you find those topics that's clear for you, you'll probably realize that sometimes you might have more than one book, what I'm saying, in you. So
yeah,
that's the thing. You don't want to be like all over the place. Like, I don't want like suffering to be about music. I
yeah,
can't, like, it's like, hey, beautiful suffering, y'all making tracks. Like, what? It's not gonna
yeah,
make any
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Now this is more on the marketing side, which I won't go deep into, but one thing that is important too. What's important in the writing process is being clear of who you're writing to. I can't stress that enough. You can't reach everybody, but you could. God had somebody in mind when He gave you the concept. So
Yeah,
being clear on who you're targeting. Like, I already know that most of the people, the colleagues, or the people in my community who are like spirit filled and passionate about spirituality are not gonna all like that I'm talking about leaning into your suffering and finding God. They're gonna say, like, pray, believe,
mm,
believe and receive. It's not gonna be something that they'll connect to. But the thing is that I didn't write it for them. Not No offense.
yeah,
Like, I'm specifically writing for specific people
yeah,
who I know who are either going through purpose and pain, who have
yeah,
gotten exhausted of
yeah,
trying to find answers that they can't find, or who will know people who are trying to find answers that they can't find, and need somebody to meet them where they're at, and journey them through what their next steps are, who are okay with therapy, right? I know, like, not all Christians believe in counseling and therapy. So knowing clearly who are you targeting to write to, and that's absolutely important, because it's more than a book. Like, if you're just trying to write a book just to get stuff out, like, just stop, because everybody has books.
yeah.
Like, what are you doing that's going to actually serve and add value to someone out there? And keep thinking about them as you reach them. You have a plan for them. I didn't go through this for no reason. You're going to be able to reach them. I think that's important, like being mindful of who it is that you're targeting, that you're trying to actually write to serve.
Nah, for sure, man. And one thing that me and Brittany, man, she reminds me about the avatar, right? When
Yeah.
you think about the
Yeah.
content that you create, who are you targeting? And she was just telling me the other day, she was like, "Hey, if you talking to everybody, you ain't talking to nobody." So she's like, hey, you gotta narrow it down. And when I was saying that avatar, I didn't took different content creation classes and podcasts. And it's like, hey, create that avatar, right? Like, who am I talking to? Like, how old are they? What's the demographic?
Yeah,
The age? What's their pain point? How
that's
can I
good.
give them relief? And like you said, now anybody could get your book and be blessed by it, but you're writing to a specific audience, man, which is so, and like you say, it allows you to be intentional. It allows you to be intentional, and allow things to go a little bit more smoother, man, which is amazing, man. Now, where can people get the book, bro? Once you release it, or when you plan on releasing it to the
Man,
masses, bro?
yeah, you nailed it. And bro, you nailed it, man. Like, so this is on it. Like what I've been realizing in this process is that when people are trying to start businesses, you said it earlier, like the purpose of a business is supposed to be to serve people. Like that's why you're supposed to be doing what you're doing.
Yeah,
It's actually supposed to be helping someone or adding value or encouraging someone. So the reason why I'm saying that is because for me, what's the absolutely most essential thing for me right now is for people to join the community. So the link is in my bio. You'll see a thing that says "Be in the Know" because honestly, it might be a book today, it might be a journal tomorrow, or it might be us just having conversations like this. It might be a podcast conversation, it might be
yeah,
music that might be sharing, or you might be able to hear from my wife in bridge couch and therapy points. And the thing is that if I just center everything on the book, then I'm not going to really be able to serve people as best as I can. So
mm,
the book is supposed to be dropping in June, but I'm just getting started now. So if y'all want
yeah,
to jump into the community, you can hit the link in my bio. You'll see the thing that says "Be in the Know." And in that group, I'm gonna be specifically giving information there that's not gonna be put on Instagram, not gonna be put on Facebook. So, but the book's gonna be everywhere. Like, so I'm gonna have a website that's it's in the process of getting ready to get put out
mm,
there. It'll be on Amazon as well, but I'm
yeah,
more so wanting to focus on the actual
yeah,
platform that we have that we're building
yeah,
because it's going to be much more effective on that stream and that actual process and that journey. So yeah, so I would say if there's something most important to me, if you want to know how to support me, I would say, man, jump into the community because if you jump into the community, you'll be able to get all the updates and everything that's going to be happening there, and we can really, really stay in touch. And I can actually find that person I'm trying to reach
yeah,
with this book so that we can really,
yeah,
really serve you. So that's going to be the most important thing, and then I'm aiming for June. So June's when it all drops out. But by then, we're gonna already be having these calls. We're gonna be
yeah,
we're gonna be way, and I want the people that's gonna be in the community with me to be in this thing with me. We're gonna be having JK Tackle Thursdays. We're gonna be doing book tours. We're gonna be actually serving people, and we all could be a part of that process. And maybe I can hear your story. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Like the people that will watch this, so you may have a story that you may be able to relate to, that can help other people, or maybe I can pray for you as well. So that's what I would say is probably the most important thing right now. Oh, we
Definitely,
will have
man.
we
And
will have an ebook as well, of course. There'll be an ebook for those that want to do that in audiobook. But go ahead.
nah, for sure. My bad cutting y'all, bro. And I love the idea, bro. The fact that you're launching your book, right? You're launching it, meaning when something takes off or it launches, it gears up. It doesn't just you don't just get on the plane and you in the air, but you're launching it. You're bringing awareness to it. You're building a community, which, like you said, is bigger than a book. Where this it goes, man, the vision that God is putting you and the things that He's got planned for you that He hasn't even revealed yet. Hey, like you know, hey, it's gonna be bigger than a book. So we gonna get the community. I'm bringing awareness to the book, and then also like when you drop it, you already doing 3 months of promotion. Not even like
Right,
promote, but 3 months of awareness, 3 months
right,
of impact, 3 months of sharing with people where you getting people to buy in and not just buy in, but they're being blessed by what you got for them, being blessed by being part of the community. And you really out here making a change, in people's lives and what you're doing, man. So I definitely salute you on that, man. I know I didn't have you on here for an hour and a half, bro. I ain't gonna hold you up much longer, bro. I promise, man. And so, man, I guess I do want to just get an opportunity, man. I know I ain't really get to touch on your music, but I know you got great songs out. Intentional Love, man. Breakthrough. Draw the Line. I don't want to mess it up. Is it Como and Grande? Grande?
yeah.
I
Yep,
got that
yes,
thing.
sir,
Hey,
yes,
I
sir.
listen to all them, bro. Hey, you doing an amazing job. But tell the people like a little bit about your music, and where they can go support you at with that, man.
Yeah, definitely. So you can find Rev Kev, Rev.Kev on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon. So yeah, honestly, what I've been getting more focused to write music that's gonna support the content of the book. So those
Mm.
songs that I put out, because I'm in a class that I was taking that was actually teaching me the mixing and the mastering. What's up,
Yeah.
Miles?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
But K
Yeah,
Lou
yeah,
out here.
yeah. Yeah. So I was
Yeah.
in a class that's teaching how to mix and master. So what I was doing, which is important, is in order that I could be able to do that for other people, I was learning it and actually practicing on myself. So by like practicing on the music I'm working on and getting them to
Yeah.
completion, then it'll get me more practice. But
For sure.
so I did draw the line first, then we did intentional love, then we did breakthrough, and then we did the Brazilian and Nigerian song. So now, and I have a song coming out on Sunday, which I forgot that even we wrote it, which is like a pep rally type of vibe. But right now, what I've been writing is specifically stuff that has to do with like overcoming, or stuff that has to do with like joy, or stuff that has to do with like soaring, stuff that
Yeah.
has to do with like you know what I'm saying, like not backing down. So now I'm writing music that's specifically for the specific person who I'm trying to
Hmm.
reach with this book, that's going to encourage them, stuff that they can listen to. So all the music I'm writing now is like, think like movie trailer,
Okay.
think
Yeah.
like life. That's what I'm writing now. And I'm going to probably
Yeah.
stay in that genre for a long time. Because I think
Yeah.
somebody who's like trying to like triumph in life or find victory, they probably don't need to do like Gyra, Maverick City music, you know? They probably
Hmm.
need like, draw the line. Like today's the day I'm gonna overcome, or today's the day I'm
Yeah.
gonna I'm not backing down today. Like I'm gonna get up and win. Like that's kind of what I've been writing on. So I actually have like I got like 4 songs that I didn't put out yet. One of them is gonna come out soon, Soar. Then there's I don't even remember these titles. But all of them are like centered on these different thoughts of actually having to do with like coming from pain into purpose.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm
Ooh.
writing on
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
So, but even that's on my bio as well. The link in the bio is there.
Yeah.
All the songs that I put out, and even songs that will come. But that's why I want you guys to join the community. Because if
Yeah.
y'all join the community, you will hear first like what's coming, what I'm working on, what I'm writing about, and actually what's going to be actually coming next. So I'm excited about that. And honestly, too, the point of that too, Jeremy, is I am trying to get my songs into movies. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get them into commercials. I am trying to do that. So that's the reason why for me it's like it's gonna be important, which I think is gonna help for me to find those people. That it's gonna be people that are suffering in those realms that's gonna go, wait, who wrote this? They're gonna see it says Rev Kev. Oh, he must be a pastor. Okay, so
Yeah.
let me see who he is. And I think it gives another opportunity to even add more value. So
Yeah.
I love gospel music, I love Christian music, I love worship music. I do. But in this specific season, I feel like I have a assignment by God to focus on the people that He's wanted to target through this message of beautiful
Yeah.
suffering, and
Yeah.
songs that will be so when they get up in the morning and working on their daily affirmations, they want to be able
Yeah.
to declare like I'm drawing the line today. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like they want to be able to like have that like victory that comes through Christ. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's why for me, like I'm writing these kinds of songs that tailor around the book, so I can keep dropping material that complements the book. It's kind of what I'm doing right now.
Man, hey, I want to just salute you on that, dog, because one of the things I say at the end of the show, and I actually got it from a dude who's like a master content creator, Words Taylor. I say be intentional about winning, right? Wake up, win on
Mm.
purpose. Be intentional about winning, right? And he, and so he helped me come up with that concept. Well, he actually gave it to me, and that's what I see you doing. You're being intentional about everything you're doing. The music that you're doing is intentional. It aligns with the book. The book that you're doing is intentional. You got a community, intentional. All of that. All the movie, the songs you're making is intentional because you got a bigger goal in mind with that is, hey, I'm trying to get in movies. I'm not trying. I'm going to get in movies. I'm in that process. So everything you're doing is intentional, and I think it's so important because you're showing other believers that, hey, I can do this, but my identity in Christ stays the same. Who I'm doing it for stays the same. And that was hard for me that I felt like sometimes, like when I look at some of my old interviews, they could be like, Jeremy, how was your game today? Man, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Right? Hey, Jeremy, man, y'all did good today. Hey, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And it was to the point where I wanted to let God know, God, I give you all the praise and the glory and the honor. But then the more I realized, I was like, dang, I could have just did that and being me. I could have referenced and be like, man, I thank God I was blessed to get that pick. And it got to a point where it was religion, because it was like, if I didn't do it, I felt guilty. And I was like, no, that's not what God want me to be at, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I love that you know who you are in Christ, and in that identity, everything stems what you're doing, man. So I definitely salute you on that, bro. And I promise you, I'm about to let you go, bro. I let my guest. So I'm gonna do two things. I let my guest ask me one question, and then I'm gonna give you the last word, bro. So you got one question. I've been asking all the questions. You got one question you can ask me, and then yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I am curious. So, what are you thinking for the book to be about that you're working on?
Oh, so what the book is about? So it's about our dating story, and how we. So for those that don't know, me and my wife, we waited. Well, we were together. We dated 5 years, right? We're abstinent. When we met each other, we were not virgins, right? But when we got together, well, she had already, like I told you on the show, she gave her
Mm-hmm.
testimony one day. I didn't even know who she was, but she gave a testimony. She made a declaration, to out of reverence to God, to practice abstinence, right? And me, like I said, I knew I was supposed to be doing that. I was trying to get that out, but I just wasn't out, you know what I'm saying, all the way, right? Put myself in situations, I thought of the control, stumbling. But make a long story short, I knew that's where I wanted to be and I needed to be, right? And that's what God wanted me to. Make a long story short, me and my wife, we met, and she was wondering if there was even a guy out there that would be willing to wait,
Wow.
right? She didn't know if there was a guy out there that would be willing to wait for her. And so we met, we dated for 5 years. Was it hard? For sure it was hard, because we still carnal, we still human. You know what I'm saying? I'm finding her attractive, she finding me attractive, the whole thing. But by the grace of God, I was able to do it. It wasn't easy. You know what I mean? And we wasn't perfect in the sense of we know that man, it was times like, all right, okay, we need to make sure we don't put ourselves in that situation. We want to please God. You know what I mean? And so we writing our story, and it's really sharing our story on how we waited and dated. You know what I'm saying? And the point and what we learned in the process of dating, without sex. And because we both had examples where we seen things go left when you involve sex before marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And then here we are in this relationship where, hey, we practicing abstinence. So we learning how to solve arguments with words. We learning how to deal with conflict through communication. Now, don't get me wrong. Like we even said in the book, we talk about like, hey, you married? There's gonna be a time where you solving conflict with having sex. Straight up.
Yeah.
Ain't no, hey, I'm sorry, hey, straight to it. But we're able to do that now at times in our marriage because we built the foundation when we were dating. And then also we talk about just how we waited in other areas of our life. We waited to get a house. You know what I mean? Our kids. We waited to get our kids. So it's about our dating journey and the lessons we learn. And it's really, like we talk about the avatars for someone, young adult into their, maybe later 20s, early 30s that are dating. And you might be single, trying to practice abstinence. You might be in a relationship. Y'all might be already sexually active, but you know God tugging on your heart, but you think that you can't start over. But God said He make all things new, and we talk about that. We talk about that in the book where, bruh, even though Brittany wasn't a virgin, right, and I wasn't a virgin, we in our eyes we were virgins to each other. Mm-hmm. So it's like God has that power. To where even if, and though we weren't sexually active together, but even in relationships, I believe that though people that are in relationships right now that's sexually active, God, if they truly turn to God and pray and ask God, God could change the way that they perceive themselves and be like, though He has it, He can give them that, that anticipation for the wedding day. Like that junk is big. That was real.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
brother, you know what I mean? And so, and we talk about how when you add sex in prior to, you kind of lose the anticipation for it as highly as anticipated. For the way, and that's why people could date people for 30 years because you didn't gave them everything. You didn't give them all the goods.
It's true. That's
You know
true.
what I mean?
That's
And
true.
so, and we talk about a lot of that, man. But that's what we that the book is about, man. Just about our story as we dated and we waited, the trials and tribulations, the lessons we learned, and it's practical to where we telling you, hey, you know what I'm saying? It's some stuff that you gotta cut away. I had to stop getting on Instagram, you know what I'm saying, at certain times. I'm like, bruh, this stuff on Instagram, this ain't good for me to look at, even though I'm not married. Because I'm trying to set the precedence now as a single
Yeah.
man that when I do get married, I only
Woo!
want to have eyes for my wife. I don't want to establish no habits that as a single man I bring into my marriage and it tears my marriage away. And so we get real in the book. You know what I mean? So but yeah, man, stay tuned for that though, bro. But yeah, that's the book though, bro. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
so good. Thank you.
Nah, no problem, bro. Hey, and so with that being said, I definitely want to give you the last words. Ain't nothing else gonna be said but closing after this. So tell people whatever you want. Let them people know where they can follow you, the community, whatever the last word that you want to pour into people today, man. It's on you, bro.
Absolutely. The last word I would say for me, man, honestly, is uh, there's a purpose for the pain that you've been through and or are going through. Nothing is wasted, and God could even allow the bad thing that could have happened in your life to be used for something good. So if you've been through some pain or been through some trials or been through some suffering or you're going through some suffering, I just want to encourage someone out there who may rewatch this or is watching this right now. What you're going through is not in vain, and what you're going through, not only can you still find God in it, but what you're going through, God is able when you surrender to Him in the midst of it, He's able to use that to actually help other people. And if you would just grab a hold of that, and I know it might not be easy, I know it might not be comfortable, and it might even be discouraging, or you probably used to feel encouraged. And even that, there's probably days you're encouraged, there's probably days you're not, and that's okay because every day is a different day, and it's a journey that we're walking through, and it's okay to be motivated about something that you're believing for or struggling through, and some days not. But the point is that knowing the truth that there is a reason why God is allowing the thing that you're going through for you to be going through that, and God is trusting you to be the person that can represent Him in the midst of it and to use it to help other people. So there is purpose in your pain, not just to escape it, but there's purpose in your pain, and you can find God in that situation. And what happens if you could find God in the storm? If you could find God in the storm, man, there's nothing that like the enemy can try to throw your way to get you down. Because in Christ, you find that you are more than a conqueror and you are unstoppable in Christ. Because if you could find God in the storm, then when the seasons change, it's game time at that point. Because now
Yes,
it's like, okay,
sir.
God was with me in this low point, and I know He was there with me. We'll go to this high point. It's like height or depth, right? Angels or demons. Nothing, Romans 8 says, can separate me from the love of God. And that's what makes us more than conquerors. He loves you in the storm. He loves you when you're not in the storm. He loves you in the pain. He loves you when the pain is gone. God loves you, and that truth can never leave you. In all things, that's my last thought. All things work together for the good of those who love Him, who've been called according to His purpose. So that means when we choose to love God in all things, He works it out for our good, even if it's not good. So if it's not good, He's able to still work it out for our good so that He can be glorified in the midst of it. So that's my word to anybody out there watching this or rewatching this. There's purpose in your pain.
Hey, appreciate that, Kev. Dog. Hey, tell the people where they can follow you, bro, in the
Yes,
community.
sir. Oh, yeah, that's it. So rev.kev, I'm trying to keep that everywhere. So you guys can follow me on Instagram. You guys get link in the bio. The bio says be in the know. And I'm going to give you all information that's important for book drops, music that's coming out. You can find me on Facebook as well. I know a lot of people don't use Facebook, but it still works. You know
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying? So, yeah, so you can find me on Facebook. I have a private group just for you to jump into. Other people in that group as well, people of different, age groups, different, genders. There's all kinds of people that's there, but you're welcome to be a part of that as well. So follow me on Instagram, hit the link in the bio, be in the know, get all the updates coming out for the book, music that's coming out, and even just getting to know me just a little bit more as well.
Definitely, man. Hey, Kel, man, I want to say thank you, bro, for coming and blessing me, blessing those that listen to it, watch it live, that's gonna listen and watch it on replay, bro. I appreciate you, dog. Definitely, man, rooting for you, supporting you. Me and my wife, we gonna get the copy of the book. Praying for you and Deborah, man. Y'all doing amazing, blessing people, man. God got y'all. I seen them do it for us, bro. And I know your love and y'all passion, y'all commitment, your walk with God, your trust, your faith, bro. That I know that God could do it for you too, bro. And so, man, hey, standing in agreement with you on that, man. Prayers up. Hey, and just hey, y'all go support him, go join him, go follow him, go join the community, support what he's doing. I promise you, not only are you supporting him, but you're going to be filled and blessed by what God is doing in him and through him and in and through his wife as well and them as a couple, man. Hey, y'all continue to wake up, striving to win on purpose, be intentional about winning, and y'all have a blessed night. Appreciate you, Kel, dog. Hey, all right now.